Hi everyone, my name is Winston Wu. I'm the founder of a self-help movement called Happier Abroad, and the website for that is www.happierabroad.com. Happier, Happier, abroad.com. And I just wanted to say that my self-help movement, okay, is very unique and revolutionary because it's different from others, okay, in that it emphasizes changing your location as a way to as the key to change your life, whereas pretty much all the other self-help new age movements out there, they always tell you to change your thoughts and your attitude. I mean, they emphasize changing your thoughts and your attitude as the key to changing your life, okay? And you can see it in a lot of new age and spiritual book titles or self-help book titles. For example, Dr. Wayne Dyer wrote a book with the title, or maybe subtitle, that says, Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. Okay, so he's emphasizing that if you change your thoughts, you'll change your reality. Your life will change because your reality will change. So he's assuming that your mind controls all of reality, and that's it's kind of exaggerated because I mean your thoughts do influence your life, of course, but they're not all powerful. I mean you can't go on top of a building and jump off and believe that you'll fly and use the power of your thoughts and expect to fly. No, you're gonna smash down to the ground if you try to do that. Just because you believe you can fly doesn't mean you can. Okay, I mean belief doesn't automatically create reality. Okay, there are limits to what your thoughts can do, and this is common sense. But the New Age movement is not about common sense. It tries to tell people what they want to hear and tries to play these confidence games with people, and it tries to make people feel better, okay? And that's fine, but they exaggerate a lot of things that just aren't true. I mean, your thoughts are not all powerful. There's limits to what your thoughts can do, but unfortunately, limitations don't sell, of course. What sells is telling people that they can do anything. Sky's the limit. Your mind can do anything. All you have to do is believe, okay? Now, any down to earth intellectual knows that that's not true, but for some reason the ignorant masses and a lot of Americans like to believe that because that message is positive, and as long as something is positive, Americans like it. It doesn't have to be true, of course, as long as it's positive. And that's true in the self-help movement as well as the New Age movement, and as well as in politics too, of course. So, and another example is the really successful pastor Joel Osteen. He wrote a book recently with the title "Think Better, Live Better." So again, it's the same type of title. He's saying that if you think better, your life will be better. It's all in the power of your thoughts. So pretty much, the main bulk of the self help industry out there emphasizes changing your thoughts, changing your attitude as the key to changing your life. But my movement is different. We emphasize changing your location. And I don't know why no one else talks about this, but in my experience, location has been the biggest factor in everything. Okay, like when I change from one location to another, my life changes. I have a much better social life, much better dating life. My mental health and self-esteem get a lot better. It makes all the difference in the world to me. Okay, so um, I think that's the most important factor, at least for me and for many other people I know. Location is a much bigger factor than your thoughts or your attitude. So I believe it's the key to changing your life is to go to a country where you fit in better, where people will appreciate you, where you can feel accepted and have a decent social life, and get the dates or love or relationship that you want, and where you can feel better about yourself, where your self-esteem will be more healthy rather than toxic or torn down like what happens in America. So to me, that's always been the key. Um, like for example, in 2002, when I went to Russia, okay, my life totally changed. Because when I was in America all throughout the 90s, it was so hard to get any dates because the girls by the 90s. I mean, I heard it was a lot easier in the 80s, but when you start dating in the 1990s, it's so hard because all these women believe that they don't need men and they don't like men, and so they become super picky. And so when a guy asks them out, they're always, "Oh, I got a boyfriend. Oh, I got a boyfriend." And I must have heard that line about 10 million times, and I wasted the entire decade trying to get dates in America because I thought it was easy because that's what the culture and the media says. Okay, and it was never true, but I always assumed it was true and that the problem must be me, which is what you're supposed to believe. But then when I went to Russia, I could get dates every day because the women were very feminine, down to earth. They had a positive attitude toward men and toward meeting foreigners. They weren't stuck up, the women in Russia, and also Eastern Europe too. And so they were also very feminine and ladylike, and feminine women are a lot easier to get along with for a man than women that are not feminine, okay? Because feminine women are natural women. They act like ladies the way God intended females to be, okay? And for a guy that's very down to earth and authentic like me, you know, obviously I'm going to connect with women that are more down to earth and feminine because that's how I am. So like gets along with like. I mean, like attracts like. I mean, it's easier to get along with people when they're on the same wavelength, when they're authentic and real. Like for example, in Russia, nobody gives you a fake smile. So if you see a smile, then it's genuine. Okay. When someone says, "Hey, how are you?" You don't have to say, "Oh, I'm doing great," like you would in America. Because in America you got to pretend that everything is great, 24 hours a day, and that you're always in a good, positive mood, 24 hours a day. And life is not like that, of course. But in America, you're expected to project this positive, optimistic mood 24/7. And so it's a very fake culture. Whereas in Russia, you don't have to do that. It's real. People are real. Okay, they accept that life sucks, and so they call themselves happy pessimists. They're happy to be pessimistic because they've accepted that in life most things don't go right. They don't go the way you expect, and so they're happy to accept that. They revel in that. They celebrate that. They toast some beer to that. Okay, and I like that. It gets along with me. And the women there are just so much more open and down to earth. So my dating life by going to Russia went from zero in America to absolute infinity in Russia. I mean, every day I could meet new girls. I mean, I would meet more girls in one day in Russia than I would in 1 year in America. So, in that sense, just changing location made all the difference in my dating life. I could date tons of young girls, cute girls, attractive girls, and you can see this in the photos on my website at Happier Abroad. So for me, location changed everything, and plus I felt more confident too because I didn't have to be lonely. I wasn't forced to be lonely like in America, where once you get out of high school, everyone's in a bubble and nobody wants to talk to you anymore. because because in America it's like once you get out of high school or college, you're expected to have a spouse and a family already, and your group of friends, and all you do is focus on making a living. Life is a business in America. People don't want to go out and connect with people or make friends. Okay, life is a business. So when adults talk to each other in America, it's usually for business related purposes. So the social environment really sucks in America. Once you get out of school, there's no social environment. Everyone's in a bubble. No one wants to talk to you or meet you or invite you in their clique. So if you don't have a social clique in America, you're pretty much screwed. And I've never really fit into America, except maybe when I was very little and went to excuse me, went to a good school. Um, so anyways, the point is I felt better about myself in Russia. I didn't have to be lonely. People were open and curious about me. And I don't know, it gave me a sense of confidence and self-esteem that I never had in America. So when I told people in Russia that people in America think I lack self-esteem, they were quite surprised because they said I looked very confident. I acted very overly confident, in fact. So some environments bring out the confidence in you, and some try to tear it down, like America is. I mean, anyone that's lived in America can tell you that it's very toxic, especially on the West Coast. It's very toxic and tries to tear you down, tries to make you insecure. It just tries to bring out the worst in you. And I don't know, maybe not everybody feels this way, but a lot of people do. Okay, because I guess each culture. I mean, every person fits into a particular culture differently. Okay, everyone and it's a myth to think. I mean, it's a fallacy if you assume that everyone fits in America. That's not true. There's no country in the world where everyone fits in. So even these patriots on the internet that assume that everyone wants to come to America and nobody wants to leave, they're totally wrong. I can guarantee that. A lot of people want to leave America, and a lot of people have. Right now, about 3 or 4 million Americans live overseas. Okay, that's a lot of people. So no, and a lot of people that come here are disappointed and leave too. A lot of immigrants, I mean. So it's not true that everybody wants to come to America, like the patriots and the truthers, whatever, assume that. No, I mean, it's not true. There's no one culture where everyone fits in. So anyways, um, yeah. So yeah, I find that going abroad changes everything. It's the biggest factor, not just in Russia, but in Europe, in Asia, in the Philippines. Okay, um, in most other countries, I feel good about myself. I feel confident. I have a good self esteem, but not in West Coast America. I mean, in West Coast America, everything's all in cliques, and you feel excluded if you don't belong to a clique. But in these cliques, people are very fake. They're very superficial. They're not down to earth like I am. So a person like me is not gonna really fit in. Okay, I mean, even if I get invited to parties or something, I'm not gonna vibe with the people there because I don't act fake. And in America, you're supposed to act fake. You're supposed to be a poser, a douchebag, and that's just the way the culture is, especially on the West Coast. Okay, so that's one issue. Another is that the girls are just super picky. They don't like Asian guys. Okay, in general, and pretty much every girl has such a high sense of entitlement that when a guy like me asks them out, And even when a better looking guy than me asks them out, they still say, "Oh, I got a boyfriend. I got a boyfriend. You're not my type, or I'm too busy, or whatever." You know, there's always, or I don't know you. I don't talk to strangers. So there's always an excuse, you know. But I don't, and I know there's a lot of victim blaming people that'll say, "Oh, the problem must be you, Winston, because look outside. I mean, other people in America have girlfriends. They have wives. How come you don't? The problem must be you." But I could turn that argument around and say, well, how come I don't have a problem getting dates in other countries? How come it's only in America and maybe a few other countries? So you see, both arguments are valid. You could say that the problem must be me because other people can get dates in America or get girlfriends and wives at least. Um, but I could also say, hey, well, I can get dates and girlfriends in other countries, so the problem must be America. Both of those arguments are equally valid, so the only logical solution to both of those arguments is that some people just don't fit in for whatever reason. Okay, some people just don't vibe in America or have good luck in relationships in America. Okay, America is not a country where everybody is going to be happy and successful. Okay, it's not for everyone. There's no country that's for everyone. And even those people that do have girlfriends and wives in America, if they lose that girlfriend and wife, I mean, that girlfriend or wife, okay, it's not usually easy for them to just find another girl. Okay, I mean, I don't think the average guy in America has a lot of choices. If they find a girlfriend and then she breaks up with him, he's screwed because he may not find another girlfriend for years. Because you can't just, when you lose a girlfriend, okay, just in America, just find another one. You can't just go out and find another one because, like I said, in America, when you go out, people don't talk to you. A stranger is a stranger. There's a wall. Okay, there's a wall. And so you can't just go out and get a girlfriend the way you can go to a supermarket and buy food, okay? I mean, and shop. You can't just go out and shop for a new girlfriend because if you go out and try to do that, every girl's going to say, oh, who are you? I don't know you. Don't talk to me, creep. Okay, so it doesn't work that way, okay? You can't just go out and get another girlfriend or wife if your girlfriend or wife leaves you, okay? So the average guy in America doesn't have a lot of choices. What happens is they usually settle for maybe a woman they don't want, they don't like that much, but they can't get anything else. So they settle. Okay. So I don't think the average guy in America, I mean, whether he has a girlfriend or a wife, can just get another girl very easily. No. If they lose their relationship, they could be single for years. Um, so even for them, it's not that easy. Okay. And I wanted to tell you that when I was like 17, okay, I had a really rough time in high school. I couldn't fit in. I got very bad vibes from people. The schoolwork was too hard. I mean, nobody cared about me. I was pretty alienated. And I was so depressed and traumatized. I couldn't handle this every day. Um, so I started going crazy. I started having weird um, OCD symptoms. OCD means obsessive compulsive disorder. I started having weird, mental problems, like mental disorders like OCD, because I was so depressed and I couldn't handle it. So mentally I was breaking down. And then as a result, I don't know, some type of OCD was triggered. So, so I dropped out of school and went on homeschooling. And then when summer came, I actually went to my native country of Taiwan for 1 year. So I took a year off of school, and it did wonders because once I was in Taiwan and away from all the bullying and persecution in school, I could heal normally and become a normal person. And so mentally and spiritually, I was able to develop into who I really was. And as a result, the mental problems I had, the OCD or whatever, it started going away, it started dissipating until it was almost cured. Okay, so without any psychiatric drugs, I solved my mental problems by going overseas, by changing location and getting out of the toxic high school environment for a year. So, I was only 17 at the time, but that is another living proof, another living example early in my life of how changing location made all the difference. And it solved my mental problems too. So, so for me, I mean, location has been everything. And that's why I created a movement based on it, which I started in like 2007 while I was living in the Philippines. I started this website called Happier Abroad, and it got more and more popular because a lot of people felt the same way, that location was the answer. It was, excuse me, they felt that location was the answer and it was what they were looking for. Okay, so that's why my movement is unique, because it emphasizes location while all the other self help movements emphasize simply changing your thoughts, which I don't see how changing your thoughts is going to make much of a difference. I mean, if I believe that I'm tall and handsome, okay, and I believe it 100%, okay, and I go to America, to California, and start hitting on girls and asking them out with 100% confidence, it's not going to make a difference. If I'm not their type, they're still going to reject me and say, "Oh, I got a boyfriend." Okay, it's really not going to make a difference. Okay, just because you have a positive attitude doesn't mean things are going to go right in your life. Okay, it's not that simple, especially when it comes to something like this. Okay, um, I mean, of course, your thoughts are important. It's better to have healthy thoughts than unhealthy thoughts, but it's not going to change everything. At least not the way location can, like the examples I told you about. Okay. Um, so it doesn't matter what I believe about myself. I could think I'm the most handsome man in the world, but the women are not going to see it that way just because I believe that. I could think I'm the most attractive man in the world, but women are still going to blow me off if I'm not their type. Okay, it's just the reality. I could walk into the Pentagon and believe 100% that I'm the president of the United States, but that won't matter because nobody's going to see me as the president of the United States. Okay, reality doesn't work that way. Okay, this is common sense. Okay, so thoughts can only do so much. Okay, I mean, they're important. It's better to have a strong positive attitude, of course, but you got to change your location too. If other locations get you what you want, and going back to the other example of when I was 17 and felt bullied and alienated from school, how would that have helped if I had changed my thoughts? I mean, if I had changed my thoughts and was very was very positive about school, it wouldn't matter. I would still be unhappy because I felt alienated and bullied and not accepted in school. I didn't connect with the fake atmosphere and the fake people and the fake students and the fake culture and all the cliques. It was, the whole scene is very exclusive. It's not warm and welcoming and open. No way. It's not a culture of love. High school. It's a culture of exclusive cliques, and it's overly competitive and tries to look down on other people. It's just a totally snobby atmosphere that I don't fit into at all, period. And I cannot fit into no matter what I believe, okay? You can't be something you're not, okay? And changing your thoughts is not going to make you become something that you can't be, okay? Plain and simple. You can't be something you're not. And changing your thoughts is not going to make a difference. Okay. Um, okay. So my movement, Happier Abroad, is unique because it's the only one that emphasizes location rather than changing your thoughts. Okay, that's one way that it's unique, but there's also a second way that it's unique in that um, we're the only ones that um, you see. Most people, or pretty much everyone, even on YouTube, everyone else that criticizes America, okay, is only talking about the foreign policy or the government or the the conspiracy movement, like the Alex Jones crowd, okay, and the David Icke crowd. They're always talking about the U.S. government, the U.S. foreign policy, and these elite cabals that run America, that have taken away all the freedoms or whatever. Okay, and everyone seems to only criticize America for that. But nobody criticizes the people and the culture, more specifically, the dating scene, the social life, and the mental health. Okay, my movement criticizes America for all those things. Okay, not just the government. Um, I mean, my movement is the only one that talks about the terrible dating scene, social life, and mental health in America. So we don't just talk about economics and politics like the other people do. We talk about how bad the social culture is, how there's no human connection with other people, how it's very socially isolating and disconnected, and how life feels so empty and depressing. I mean, it's like if you're a single guy, there's nothing to do in America except get up and go to work. But what's the point of getting up and going to work every day if you're not fulfilled in other areas of life? Like, for example, if you're dateless and you're celibate and you're lonely, you don't have any love or sex or romance in your life, what's the motivation for you to get up and work hard every day just to earn a paycheck? I mean, there's none, because life is meaningless. And so there's just, I don't know, America just feels hollow. It just feels like all there is to do is to follow the rules and work hard just for the sake of working hard. And why do that when you can get out of America and have a better dating and social life? So um, so the thing is, um, the thing is, all the other people that are criticizing America out there, they act as though the only thing wrong with America is the government, the tyrannical New World Order, or the elite cabal that's taking away your freedoms. Okay, um, but this doesn't make sense if you think about it, because I mean, they act as though your freedom and your life is all about excuse me. They act like your freedom and your life is all about government control, and it's not. Okay, it doesn't make sense. I mean, think about it. I mean, how does the government control your freedom? How does it take away your freedom? Um, I mean, take me for example. I never interact with the U.S. government. Okay, the only time I do interact with the government is when maybe I go to the post office and mail something, but that's very, very minimal. And I guess when you're in the airport at the customs line, you interact with the government. But, that's very minimal. I mean, I don't have any interaction with the government, so how does the government control my life or my freedom? It doesn't make any sense. But this American truth movement or conspiracy movement, they act like freedom is all about government control. But if you think about it, The stuff that I emphasize on my website, the dating scene, the social life, the mental health, these are all a lot more important. They're a lot more relevant. They affect me personally than the government does. Because, having a good dating life makes me happy. Having a good social life or social connection with others, it makes me feel fulfilled. And having good mental health and self-esteem makes me feel better about myself. So these are things that affect me personally that are much more important to me than government policy or government control, okay? If you think about it, these things are much more important, you know, dating, social life, and mental health. So why is everyone focused on government control when these three things that I talk about are far more important and far more personal? It doesn't make any sense, okay? Where's everyone's head gone? I mean, where's the basic logic in all this? Why am I the only one that sees the obvious truth? Weird. It's like 2 plus 2 equals 4, but nobody sees it except me. Bizarre. I don't know. I guess when you've woken up, okay, things that are obvious to you are not obvious to other people. And some people are just fanatics. A lot of these conspiracy people and truthers, the people that listen to Alex Jones and David Icke, they're kind of fanatics in that they hate the government so much that they want to blame everything on the government. All their problems, all their loss of control, their unhappy life. They want to blame everything on some government power out there, some evil cabal that's running everything, called the New World Order or the Illuminati or the Freemasons. I mean, which I don't deny those things exist. I mean, there is evidence that there are conspiracies and secret societies that run America. There's a lot of documented evidence that that's true. Okay, but the problem is these people, these conspiracy people, they're so fanatical that they exaggerate their power. Okay, they exaggerate the power of this new world order cabal, and they give it too much power. They give it too much credit. And they give it too much hate too. I mean, they hate government so much that they feel like it's 100% unnecessary and bad, which is not true because you need some government. Okay, you can't have total anarchy. You know, I mean, that's not what the founding fathers of America advocated. They advocated a small, limited government that would defend basic liberties. They never said that there should be no government or anarchy. Anarchy doesn't work, okay? No, if society went to anarchy and there was no government, everyone, it'd be a dangerous place because everyone would there would be warlords owning different neighborhoods and having gang wars and stuff. People would desecrate nature. They would destroy Yosemite National Park. They would cut down all the trees in the forest for profit, and there would be no government stopping that. They would desecrate all the national parks. That hunters would shoot all the buffalo to extinction, which they almost did in the 1800s. And there's no force to stop that. There's no law to stop the looting. I mean, people would just loot, and there'd be no law. So you can't have total anarchy. But anyways, let's not get off topic here. Okay, the government. So what I'm saying is, the government doesn't have a lot to do with your freedom or your happiness, and in my case, doesn't have anything to do. The government has never stood in my way of my freedom, my happiness. Okay. I don't even interact with the government. I don't talk to federal agents. I don't have federal agents coming to my door telling me what to do. So why does this alternative media or conspiracy movement act like freedom is all about government control? Makes no sense at all. None. Okay, my dating life, my social life, my mental health, all of these affect me a lot more than government. Okay, so these are a lot more important. And let me give you a simple example. Okay, say I wanted to go backpacking in Europe for 6 months. Okay, do you think the U.S. government would care if I do that? No. As long as I have my U.S. passport, I can go to any foreign country I want. The government's not going to have a problem with it. Okay, but if I had a wife and a family, my wife might not like it if I took off for 6 months and left her and the kids like that. Okay, she might throw a fit about it or even threaten to leave me if I did that. Okay, so so if you think about it, even your wife has more to do with your freedom than the government does because your wife can complain about it. And also, if I had an employer, that employer may not like it if I take 6 months off of work to go backpacking in Europe. He might threaten to fire me if I do that. So, two people would have a problem with that, my wife and my employer, and they might pose as an obstacle to me going to Europe for 6 months. Okay, but the federal government wouldn't care. Okay, so in this case, even my wife and my employer um, are a bigger obstacle to my freedom than the government is. So government has very little to do with your freedom. Okay, it depends on what kind of freedom you want, of course, but you get the point. Um, or say I want to go to the park and sit by the lake all day and do nothing. Just sit by the lake in the park and read. Or say I want to just go to the beach all day and hang out. Okay. You think the government's going to stop me or care? No, it's not going to give a shit. Okay. But but my employer might have a problem with that. He might say, "Oh no, you got to come into work today. I need you. You can't take the day off and go to the park or the beach." So you see, my employer would have a more direct effect on my freedom to go to the beach or the park. But the government would not. The government doesn't care if you go to the park all day or beach all day. As long as you don't break any laws, it doesn't care what you do. Okay. So again, how does government control my freedom? I don't see how it does. Okay, so a lot of these truther movements, they're very, very exaggerated. Okay. Um, and yeah, so the main point I'm trying to make is that the stuff we talk about is very important. It affects um, your freedom, your dating, social life, and mental health, and other issues, and your freedom, of course. All of these things matter a lot more than government policy. Yet, you go on the internet, you go on YouTube, the only people that are, I mean, everyone that's criticizing America is only criticizing government policy. It's like nothing else is wrong in America except government policy or economics, lack of jobs, etc. Um, that's not true because the biggest problem in America is that there's no social connection. There's no social connection with other people, and so you feel, unless you have a lot of friends or you have a wife, you feel very isolated and lonely and miserable and alienated, and that's not good. That I think is a much bigger problem than some government policy. Um, and of course, another big problem in America is the cost of living is too high. And I know the truthers know that too, but they don't offer a solution to this problem. They don't tell you to go overseas, whereas I do. because in a lot of other countries you can live on a lot less. The cost of living is much higher, is much lower. For example, you go to Thailand or the Philippines, you can rent an apartment for under $200 a month, and you can find really cheap food too if you want. So there are other countries you can live in and have a decent quality standard of life I mean, with a lot lower cost of living. So, as we all know, inflation in America skyrocketed in the 20th century, especially in the 1970s when housing prices went through the roof. Okay, so America's too expensive to live in. So you're not really free in America because if the cost of living is so high, you're going to have to work a lot all the time to make ends meet. So you're not free to do what you want. You have to be a wage slave pretty much your whole life. And if you're married, both of you have to work to make ends meet. So there's no freedom if you always have to work to keep up with the rising costs. Whereas in other countries, you can work less and make a living and have more free time. So in other countries, you actually have more freedom than in America. And that's an important issue. But the conspiracy movement never tells you that you can go abroad and have a better life. They assume that you can't leave America, that you want to stay in America, and that nobody can leave America, and that everyone wants to stay in America, and so you have to stick out all the problems in America. And that's not true. You don't have to. Like I said, already 3 or 4 million Americans live overseas, and they're probably happier living overseas. Most of them, that is. So you can move abroad and have a better life. It's not true that you have to stay in America like all the truthers tell you, or they assume for some reason. I guess they're so patriotic that, you know, to them, the idea of getting out of America is just too unpatriotic to consider. They love their country too much. So they want to stay in America, and they assume everyone else does. All they want is to take their country back, like they say. They want to take their country back, get it out of the government's hands, or the New World Order's hands, and take back the U.S. sovereignty. That's what they want to do. So they want to take their country back and stay in their country. Whereas I'm saying that you can leave America and have a better life. And I think my solution is a lot easier because think about it. What's easier, buying a plane ticket overseas or trying to change the entire USA and getting rid of the people that run it? Okay, you can't change an entire culture or country, okay, of course. It's not in your power, it's not in your hands. But you can go online and buy a plane ticket overseas. Okay, it only takes a few minutes. Okay, so there's no contest here. What's easier? Think about it. There's no contest. Okay, so if you think about it, the stuff I talk about is a lot more important and a lot more relevant than what these conspiracy truthers talk about and what the New Age self-help movement talks about. None of them have solutions. The New Age self-help movements doesn't have solutions. All they do is tell you to change your thoughts and your attitude, which doesn't get the results I told you about. The truther movement, the alternative media, they don't have solutions. All they do is tell you to raise awareness and take back your country. And all they talk about is government conspiracies and government control. They don't talk about the horrible dating scene, social life, and mental health in America. So that's what makes my movement unique, in that, excuse me, that's what makes my movement unique, in that I talk about these things that other people don't. Okay, about how changing your location changes your life in many ways, in 6 different categories. Dating, relationships, social life, social connection, mental health, self-esteem, cost of living, health, healthy food overseas. And number six, personal and social freedoms. So that's six areas of life that will greatly improve if you go overseas to a country that's better for you, that's healthier for you, that treats you better. Okay, six areas of life. That's huge. And I'm the only one talking about this. I don't know why. So, um, so yeah, I hope you understand the value and the benefit and why my movement is revolutionary and unique and important. Because we talk about things that really matter, especially if you're a single guy. Because if you're a single guy, you're going to be very lonely unless you have a really good dating life. You know, unless you have women to date or you have a lot of friends. Otherwise, you're going to be very lonely and miserable because humans are not meant to be solitary. We're not meant to be hermits. We're not meant to be alone. We're meant to need other people. That's why there's loneliness. Loneliness is not a defect that needs to be eliminated or cured. It's a natural feeling because we're not meant to be alone, okay? America doesn't acknowledge that. All it cares about is working and consuming. It doesn't care about whether you're lonely or not. It doesn't care about social connection. It doesn't care about you either, okay? So, do you understand what I'm talking about? I mean, oh yeah, I was saying that especially if you're a lonely guy, this is a bigger issue. I mean, if you're a single guy, this is a big issue for you because if you don't have women to date and you don't have a lot of friends, you're going to be lonely and miserable, and that's not good. But you don't have to be lonely and miserable. All you have to do is go overseas to a country where you can, like I did, where you can get dates easily, where you don't have to have a pre existing social clique. Um, and those things will be solved. You'll be happier. Really, I mean, look at the pictures on my website and you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay. Um, so, so I mean, so especially if you're a single guy, I mean, this is important to you, these issues, and they're just not talked about by anyone else. Everyone else gives you bullshit. I'm the only one that gives you truth. I'm the only one that gives you real solutions. Real solutions. This location thing I'm telling you about, changing your location, this is a real solution that'll change your life. And there's no bullshit in it at all. Come look at my website. I have a lot of evidence and proof to back up everything I say, okay? And I know it's true from personal experience, okay? It's an absolute fact to me what I'm talking about. How that changing your location can drastically improve your life in a lot of ways. That's a fact. I've lived it, and a lot of my friends have lived it too. And so I know it's an absolute fact, okay? And it's very important. Um, so yeah, I mean, this is important, and what I talk about is a real solution. There's no bullshit. There's no new age, oh, change your thoughts and your whole life will change. Oh, if it was that easy, everybody would do that. Um, or oh, blame everything on the government like the new age, like the conspiracy movement and Alex Jones crowd does. Blame all your problems on the government. How's that going to help? To blame it all on the government or the New World Order or the elite or government conspiracies or the bankers or the Federal Reserve and the central bankers. How is blaming them for all your problems going to change everything? It's not. It's just going to fuel hatred in you. And but what Alex Jones talks about is entertaining. I mean, it's kind of like a conspiracy porn. It's a paranoia porn. It feeds your need to I mean, it feeds your desire to hate the government, um, to blame all your problems on them. All it does is feed your desires. But it's not good because it doesn't solve anything. It doesn't change anything to just constantly hate the government or blame all your problems on it. So you can see they don't have any solutions. Just watch Alex Jones, for example, rant. Just watch him when he rants all day for hours about government conspiracies. And I'm not saying they're not true. There are government conspiracies. Some of what he says is true. He just exaggerates a lot of it, okay? But either way, I mean, he doesn't have any solutions. Just watch him rant all day about government conspiracies, and you'll see he has no solutions at all. He just rants and rants, whereas I do. That makes me unique. That makes my message important and special even, because I have the solution. He doesn't. And it's too bad I don't have as many followers and fans as he does. Because if I did, a lot of people would be helped. Okay. Same with the New Age movement. All they do is give you bullshit, feel-good slogans like, oh, you create your own reality, change your reality and you'll change your life. It's all in your head. Just be positive and everything will work out. Reality isn't that simple, okay? It's just bullshit, okay? It's just typical American bullshit. So they don't have solutions either, but I do. So come to my website and learn more. It's www.happierabroad.com. That's HAPPIERABROAD.com. And I have a lot of material and a very active forum that you can participate in. And it's all for free, too. The only income I get from it is from advertisements, okay, which is quite enough. And, I do quite well with internet advertising, so all my information on my website is free for you. The only money I make is from advertising, my advertisers. So for you, it's all free, and that's the way it should be, because I want to help people out there. I want to help solve your problems if you're not happy in America or wherever you are. And that's what I'm all about. Okay, so feel free to visit my site and join my forum community if you want. And thanks for listening, and I hope I've opened your mind a bit and planted some seeds and help you see that you do have, I hope I've helped you see that you do have solutions out there and options and choices and alternatives to your life now. Okay? Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.